Have you ever done one of those ancestry.com tests or 23andMe or whatever, the one that does the DNA tests? I love how they can like comb through historical documents or look at your DNA to figure out your ancestry or your cultural heritage. It's pretty wild we can do that stuff, isn't it? We can literally dive deeply into our own DNA and follow clues like a treasure map that leads back to the wisdom of our ancestors. I've never done that stuff, I'll be honest. Maybe I will someday. I figure, though, with a solid name like Matthew Matson, I'm pretty sure that at least some of my ancestors sailed here on a ship from a cold northern European country and probably ate a lot of pickled fish. We should all know about where we came from and where our neighbors and friends came from, and maybe even where our enemies came from. There's a lot to be gained from the perspective of the centuries, the perspective of generations and generations of lives and struggles and triumphs, the perspective of time. In the US this week, we'll celebrate Thanksgiving and we'll all gather together with family and friends and we'll share meals and we'll share stories. The way I see it, those Thanksgiving gatherings usually go one of two ways. Either the gathering has a narrow perspective or a wide perspective. Let me explain. So sometimes the wine gets poured a little too generously, and old Uncle Harold gets worked up about something he saw on the news the other day, and the whole gathering takes on kind of a narrow perspective. These narrow Thanksgiving conversations are contentious and they're loud. There are hot takes about the Middle East. There are political grenades tossed around the table like flaming hot dinner rolls. Everyone has a sharp opinion about the headline issues of the day. The other way Thanksgiving could go might be more in line with what the author of the book of Ecclesiastes was thinking when they wrote this. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. That is a wide perspective. A Thanksgiving dinner with a wide perspective honors the issues of the moment, but remembers that there are layers upon layers that have built up over time, impacting all of the big hot button issues of today. There is nothing new under the sun. This is what has me thinking about DNA tests and understanding people's ancestry and stuff. It helps to think about all the struggles that have led us to this moment. It helps to widen our perspective to include the wisdom and the lessons learned the hard way by our ancestors. It helps to widen our empathy to include the experiences and pains and dreams of the ancestors of all the people we're giving hot takes about, especially the ones that are on the other side. There is nothing new under the sun. When we engage with each other, when we find ourselves in a moment of human connection, I've found it to be incredibly helpful to go wide instead of narrow, to expand my perspective and empathy to see the bigger picture. When we do that together, we can, at least momentarily, transcend the smallness of today. We can see beyond the obstacles that threaten us, and we can move together toward a better world. There are a lot of things to have a narrow hot take about this Thanksgiving, but I encourage you to keep your perspective wide. This year, I'm especially grateful for all the ancestors of our shared history who have gotten us to this point. They were imperfect, and I'm sure they often had moments of narrow points of view, but our wisdom is forged from their lives, and we are the ancestors our great, 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 great grandchildren are depending on right now. Will you join me in a short prayer? God of wisdom and time, God of width and breadth, grant us your perspective. May our ancestors whisper calm and hopeful words in our ears. May we see beyond the falling leaves of now and notice the ever-changing seasons of time. God grant us wisdom. Amen. Between is about you. Take this message into your life this week and fill the space between you and everyone you encounter with a wide perspective and outrageous amounts of kindness. Now go with God's love and create the church between.